But we recently had a conversation about foundation aid funding cuts, and we're talking now about Title I cuts. And I'm going to speak a little more generally that it does surprise me how we're in that constant battle of trying to fight against these cuts or advocate for money, and then the narrative seems to focus on educators, and we're always trying to get it. It seems to create this different notion of what we're about, when in fact, just listening to my colleagues here, the impact of those cuts in the classroom, and the whole reason why we all got into this business in the first place, is that's kind of where that impact is felt. I don't know how we change that. How do we change that narrative? How do other people see the need for that sort of thing, like in Washington, or how do we impress upon them that this is for to better our kids, to better the life? Yeah, exactly. How do
I think you're doing it. The one thing I will say, and I've said this as long as I've been working with the teachers, is that the teachers are not only the most organized, certainly proportionally, the amount of teachers that you have across the state and nation, and the amount of teachers that are advocates. The teachers are the most articulate to the needs, and quite frankly, the most effective. And I believe it has to do with the way that you go about your approach. You come with facts. And anyone that's involved in the work of government and funding the public education system should know that when you look at the facts and you look at initiatives like Title I, it's essential to our children, to these school districts. My mother is a nurse, but she also taught nursing for many years. My grandmother was a grade school teacher. My sister is a public school teacher here in Erie County. So I have teachers across my family, and I come from a union background. Both my mother and father were in different unions at different times. My mother, a member of CWA 1168, my father, a member of AFSCME as a civil servant down at City Hall. And every time you advocate, there's going to be you're advocating for a reason. You got to stand up and fight for what's right. So you want to talk about a trickle-down negative impact. You have a cut at the top. Who's getting impacted? It's the children. And who's standing up and fighting for our children? It's the teachers, because they know that the teachers are on the side of the angels.